Hey there, everybody. Sage Popham here, founder of the School of Evolutionary Herbalism. And I wanted to talk with you today about following the vital force. In when someone is sick, the importance of following the symptomatic picture and not being too rigid in your protocols when you're working with people. So, as you might know, the other day I posted a video and I woke up feeling kind of sick. It's still with me a little bit, just a little bit of a stuffy nose, a little scratchy throat, and I was talking about the importance of really allowing the body to rest, to replenish, to heal, and not overly stimulating the body and kind of mega dosing on herbs so you can continue your high stress, fast paced lifestyle, go, 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 go kind of mentality. And so the other day I started to feel, you know how it is when you got a cold and it's kind of in your sinuses, then you kind of start to feel it in your throat, and then you kind of start to feel it in your lungs, and you're like, uh-oh, it's moving down into the lungs. And so the other day, as I was noticing the progression of my vital force and kind of where the sickness was moving in my body, I started to adjust my protocol. So from there, I incorporated a little bit of OSHA into my infusions that I was drinking throughout the day in order to bring about that upper respiratory stimulant expectorant. There was kind of a lot of moisture and stuff in there, and everything was feeling kind of cold and kind of damp. It's the middle of winter, it's pretty rainy, we've had a lot of snow, really cold temperatures, and that was kind of the state of my tissues as well. And so today, everything's kind of not so much in the lungs anymore, but today everything feels super dry. And one of the things about OSHA, and I was taking a lot of ginger too, is that these are very drying remedies, very warming, very drying. And this morning I woke up and just felt all the mucous membranes and the throat and everything just felt really, really dry. And so this morning I shifted into Slippery Elm. So this is a Slippery Elm powder that I just mixed in with some cold water. And it's pretty incredible how thick this is. I mean, this is maybe 2 tablespoons or so of Slippery Elm in a quart of water, and this stuff is like slime, really, really thick, slimy, demulcent property. And the thing about an herb like Slippery Elm or marshmallow or any kind of demulcent remedy is that they're specific for dryness in the mucous membranes, dryness in the skin, dryness in the lungs and the GI. Pretty much anywhere there's dryness, a demulcent is going to be a really good option to go for. So I started working with this Slippery Elm, and pretty much after the first sip of it, it was amazing. I could feel everything starting to moisten up, everything starting to cool down, and kind of that cooling, soothing, replenishing action on the mucous membranes, and how healing that can be. So I know I was kind of saying a lot there, but the point that I want to make here is the importance of being flexible, the importance of not being rigid in your protocol and saying, well, this is the herb that you need to take, and this is the formula you need to take, and you need to be on that for 6 months until I'll see you again, or something like that, right? That as we work with plants, the ecological status of the body changes, and we need to adjust our protocol with those changes so that we're not aggravating the symptoms, right? Like if I was drinking a whole bunch of ginger and OSHA right now, it would probably be irritating my system, right? Because it would get more dried out, it would get more warm, and right now I kind of need to cool and moisten my tissues. And so this is why having a tissue state model is very, very important in a holistic herbal practice. Tissue state model, what does that mean? So basically what we see in vitalist systems of medicine, or herbal, not just herbal traditions, but just medical traditions of the world, is that they all, it's like modern biomedicine sees the body as a machine, right? See it as a whole bunch of gears, a whole bunch of biochemical pathways and processes, whereas traditional systems, vitalist systems, see the body as a reflection of the earth, right? It sees the body as a microcosm of the universe. It sees us as a garden. And so what we see is that the organs and the organ systems and the tissues of the body have different energetic states, right? Have different ecological statuses. And the way most traditions look at that is they can be really hot or really cold, they can be really damp or really dry, they can be too tight or they can be too relaxed, etc. And one of the most critical components of a holistic herbalist is their ability to really look at that underlying ecological status of the tissue along with the energetics of the herbs and see how they're going to interact. So that's what I was talking about. Like today, very warm, very dry tissues. That's why we're using a cooling, moistening remedy like Slippery Elm, whereas a few days ago it was a little bit more damp and a little bit more cold. So using a warming, drying medicine was more beneficial. So in order to follow the vital force, we have to retrain our minds, we have to retrain our perspective and not just see the symptom, oh, it's a cough, or oh, they have a runny nose, or a stuffy nose, or whatever, or they have a cold. And these are all the herbs that are good for a cold. But rather we have to look at what is the state of the organ system, what is the state of the tissue, and how are the herbs going to impact that tissue, and is it going to move that tissue in the direction we want it to go into, or is it going to potentially aggravate it? And these are really some of the key differentiating factors between an allopathic herbalist and a holistic herbalist, and whether your herbal remedies work or not. So, are you flexible in your protocols? Are you flexible in the herbs that you administer to your friends, to your family, to your clients or patients, or whoever it is you serve with herbs? I would love to hear about it if you ever have had an experience where maybe you weren't flexible in your protocols and maybe something you gave someone or took yourself started to maybe irritate your condition, or the other way around. Maybe you are really flexible. I just would love to hear about it. So scroll down, post a comment, post a question below. If you're watching this anywhere but on my blog, head on over to evolutionaryherbalism.com. That's where everything is happening. Hit the like button, hit the share button, share it with an herbally inclined friend, and until next time, take care and be well.